Okay, I am going to call the meeting to order. It is 6:34, and this is the City of Redondo Beach's Youth Commission. I'm going to start briefly with the roll call. Commissioner Campisi,
Present.
Commissioner Chabot, Commissioner Chavez, Commissioner Cho,
Present.
Commissioner Cunningham,
Present.
Commissioner Edwards, Commissioner Flynn,
Here.
Commissioner Reeds,
Present.
Commissioner Sorgan,
Present.
Commissioner Steinberg, Commissioner Tagboy,
Present.
Commissioner Weiss.
Present.
And so I just want to note the absences of Commissioners Chabot, Feldy, and Van Pelt. And then for our ad hoc subcommittee, we have Commissioner Nguyen,
Present.
Commissioner Robles, and Commissioner Trone. Is that? Oh, sorry. I thought we had that third one there. Okay, so just noting the absence of ad hoc subcommittee member Commissioner Trone. Okay, we do have a quorum this evening, so we'll go ahead and get started with the meeting. If I can ask everyone to stand, and we will do salute to the flag right behind you. Ready to begin?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, so since at the last meeting, the commission did not select anyone for the chairperson, I'll go ahead and handle some of the earlier items on the agenda. Once we do get to that item and a chairperson is selected, then we can at that point transition that over. So I'll go ahead and move on. Item D, to approve order of the agenda. Does the commission have any items on the agenda that it would like to reorder? Is there any item that you would like to hear earlier on the agenda than what is currently listed? If not, then I do ask for a motion to approve the order of the agenda.
Motion to approve the order of the agenda.
Second.
Okay. You have to bear with me until I learn your names. I have to look up to write who did the motions and seconds. Okay. We do have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Is anyone opposed? Okay, perfect. Item E is blue folder items. We do not have any for this evening, so we can go ahead and skip that item. We are on to item F, which is the consent calendar. The only item on the consent calendar is the affidavit of posting. Unless someone wants to pull that item, if there's a question or concern, I ask for a motion to approve the consent calendar.
Motion to approve the consent calendar.
Second.
Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, perfect. Okay, moving along to item H is public participation on non-agenda items. This is an opportunity for members of the public to provide any input or comments to you on any items not related to anything listed on the agenda. So I'll go ahead and see if we have any public comments in the audience first.
Calling Alina.
Hello, good evening. I hope y'all are doing well. My name's Alina Rashid Froki. I'm a junior at RUHS, a Beat Cities volunteer, and a member of the Alcove Youth Advisory Group. So I'll probably come to give you guys updates on what's happening at Alcove and stuff. So tonight I want to share that Alcove Beat Cities is about to have its second birthday as one of 3 locations currently open. Alcove Beach Cities opened in November 2022 and serves all of SPA 8, which goes beyond just beach cities, providing services, resources, and a safe space for youth in the community to take a moment and just be. In the almost 2 years, Alcove has seen over 7,000 visits by young people and has done so much amazing work for our youth and community, and we will continue to have so much more coming. I also wanted to share the upcoming events for November. there is a flyer for this posted on the Instagram at All Code Beach Cities, but I'll read some of the upcoming ones. So there's a gender identity dialogue on the 19th, career design your career on the 13th and 20th, wisdom seekers, which is like it's kind of like a philosophy conversation in a way, on the 14th, South Bay Young Congress on the 20th, and Amplify on the 22nd. This month, there's also a really cool event on Thursday, November 21st from 4 to 7 in Hermosa. Alco will be on the road to have a tacos, tie-dye, and thrifting event. So all of these events are on the flyer, as I said, and I encourage all of you to come because they're going to be really cool, especially the one in Hermosa. Thank you all, and I hope you have a great evening.
Okay, is there anyone in the public or the audience wishes to speak? Okay, do we have anyone online?
No other
Okay.
comments.
Okay, so that concludes our public comments for the evening. We will move now on to item I, which is items continued from previous agendas. And the first item here is election of officers. If you'll remember, at the last meeting, the commission elected to move this item to this meeting so that more commissioners could be present to be part of the conversation and provide an opportunity to volunteer for any position. We do have a presentation, if we can get that online. I did, for this meeting, create some PowerPoint presentations for each item. Some of these items are actually very segmented, and so I'm hoping the presentations will be helpful for you to focus your final motions. Please, as well, after the meeting or even in between, if you have any suggestions of how we can better provide the reports, the presentations, our verbal reports to you all, we want to make sure that you all are getting the information you need and in the best way possible. So we'll try this tonight and you let us know if this is helpful or not. So is this okay? Thank you. So the first item is our election of officers. And I'll kind of briefly go through this because we did go through it at the last meeting, but it is conducted annually. And we already discussed that it was moved from the October meeting. The available positions are currently for chairperson, vice chairperson, and secretary. Just kind of briefly going through what each of these roles are. The chairperson manages the meetings. They also maintain decorum. So let's say there's a very passionate conversation going on and several commissioners are trying to speak at the same time. The chairperson is the one that will maintain the decorum. They will make sure that the conversation is constructive and that people are speaking one at a time. And if need be, they would call on commissioners to speak. That doesn't always need to be the case, but they would essentially be managing and running the meeting. The vice chairperson, their role is simply to fill in as chairperson if the chairperson is not at a meeting, or to fill in as chairperson in their absence. So let's say there's an event to the teen center and the chairperson is unable to attend. The vice chair could attend to represent the commission. And the secretary is just a ceremonial position. This is something that's in our municipal code. So there really are no tasks or responsibilities associated with this position, but we do ask that you fill it this evening if you would like to. Before we go into doing the nominations, I just want to mention we did have 3 commissioners who were unable to attend this evening, who reached out to staff so that we could share some information with you all of their intent to serve on some of these positions. We have Marley Van Pelt. I do have some words from her and I'll go into that in just a minute, but she would prefer to be selected as chairperson if you all would approve of that. But she is interested in any role that you would like to put her in. Raina Feldy is the same. She would prefer chair, but any position that is available. And Ziva Chabot is interested in secretary or the vice chairperson. So as we're going through, I will try to remind you of these 3. But again, they're just throwing their names out there, and then we'll see where everyone else feels as we move forward. And so we do recommend that you elect someone for each of these 3 positions. Before I turn it over to you guys, I do just want to read a few words from Marley and Raina. Marley wanted to expressed that she's a senior at Redondo Union High School, and she serves on the school's newspaper as editor-in-chief. The position, along with being a member of the school paper for 4 years, has provided me with much leadership experience. She wanted you all to know that something about her is that she was born deaf and has 2 cochlear implants that help her to hear. And this has shaped her into the person that she is today and has taught her skills that will allow her to be an integral part of the leadership position on the commission. She is really interested in the opportunity and looks forward to serving the commission and the city. And then I do have a few very short words from Marina as well. She has previous experience being the chair of the county's Board of Supervisors at the 2024 American Legion Boys and Girls State. And she was also awarded Outstanding County Official for her work as chair of the Board of Supervisors. So they just wanted to let you know their experience on that. So, with that, I will ask you, let me just make sure we don't have any more. I would recommend going through each one of these positions individually, and we can see who's interested in what positions, and then we can start narrowing it down from there. But again, if you guys have another idea of how you'd prefer to do it, we can always try that route as well. So I will turn it over to you. So I would recommend if someone, we would ask for a nomination. We would have to have a motion and a second for each person, and then a final vote. So if you guys would like to volunteer first, and then we can kind of keep track of that, and then we can narrow it down, we can do that way. Or if you guys would like to nominate someone else on the commission, we can do it that way as well. So with that, I'll turn it over to you. I'm happy to answer any questions.
I would like to nominate myself for secretary, please.
Okay.
I would like to nominate myself for co-chair.
Okay.
I would like to nominate myself for vice chair.
Okay.
If we have any words to say, do we say it now or would we say as we go through each position?
Let's do all the nominations first, and then once we go through, we'll do each position, and then at that point, we can have you say some words then.
Okay, thank you.
Mhm. Is there anyone else who'd like to volunteer for any position? Could you turn your microphone on, the button on the?
Bottom.
Yeah, sorry, push it kind of hard. There you go, you got it.
I'd like to volunteer for secretary.
Okay.
Also, I have a question. So when you say secretary is ceremonial, that just means that you wouldn't have like a role or like a function. You would just be there. What would the secretary do?
It's really just the title,
Okay.
the way that it's written. So yeah, staff would still do the minutes of the meeting. We would do the agendas and everything. So it's purely just the title.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
I would like to nominate myself as vice chair.
Okay.
I just wanted to clarify, am I allowed to, as a part of the ad hoc subcommittee, am I allowed to nominate myself or did?
Unfortunately, no, you can't serve on the voting side of it. Any other nominations?
I would like to nominate myself for secretary.
Okay, and Edwards, correct?
Yes.
Okay. Okay. Okay, before we go into making the selections, I just want to make sure we don't have any public comment. Does anyone in the audience want to speak on this item? Is there anyone online? Okay, still no one online. Okay, so we'll close public comment for this. So would you guys prefer to start with the chairperson and work our way down, or start with secretary and work our way up? What makes the most?
Probably from chairperson.
Do chair first? Okay, let's do that. Okay, so we actually, if my notes are correct, we only have Reyna and, or excuse me, Commissioners Van Pelt and Feldy that want to serve as chairperson. Did I miss anyone that volunteered? Okay, perfect. So if we can have a motion for one of those, and then we'll see if we get a second, and then we can work our way down to the next position.
Motion to nominate Feldy as chair.
Second.
Who seconded?
Me.
Okay, great. Okay, so we have a motion and a second. We'll go ahead and take a vote. All in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Okay, so we have Commissioner Feldy is our chairperson. Let's go to vice chair. So for vice chair, we have Commissioner Van Pelt, Commissioner Tugboy, Commissioner Reeds, correct? And Commissioner Weiss. Did I miss anyone for vice chair? Okay, so does anyone for that position have any words that they'd like to say?
Hi, I'm Olivia Reeds and I'm a sophomore at Redondo Union High School. I'm a member of Molly UN at RUHS, which I've won multiple awards for. And due to this, I'm very familiar with parliamentary procedure, and I think that I'm able to lead the commission into productive conversation upon topics. And I'm also the co-president of Ocean Service Club at RUHS, which is a club that holds beach cleanups and educates members about impacts of pollution and human activity on Redondo's beaches. And due to these, I believe that I can fully serve the youth commission as not only as leader, but someone that's able to take charge and ensure that we're having productive conversations and benefit the city of Redondo. Thanks.
I'm Kaya Weiss. I've been doing ASB for 6 years, and I also do National Charity League, where we get to practice parliamentary procedure. And I'm also Redondo's secretary for their Interact Club, which has really helped me get practice with productive discussions and parliamentary procedure. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Brown Taffley. I don't have that much experience, I'm gonna be honest, but I really like helping people, and I am the co-president / co-founder and I'm a sophomore in RHS, and I'm the co-founder / co-president of our club, Homes for Help, where basically we help the homeless. And I feel like I would be a good co-chair because I just like stepping up and helping people out, and I feel like I could keep us on track and keep us in time. Thank you.
Okay. Okay, perfect. So we'll see if there is a motion on the table to select someone for the vice chair. You can also make a motion for yourself if you want to get the conversation started.
Motion to nominate Commissioner Van Pelt for vice chair.
Okay, do we have a second?
Second.
And that was Luke, you did it? Okay, so we have a motion and a second for Commissioner Van Pelt for vice chair. Can we have a vote on that? All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, any opposed? Okay. Okay, we'll move on to secretary.
Oh, I wanted to note that I was open to other positions as well, including secretary. I think I forgot to add that.
That you're interested in secretary as well?
Yeah.
Okay, no problem. Okay, so for secretary then we have, I just make sure I got the right name. Okay. For secretary, we have Commissioners Steinberg, Commissioner Edward, and Commissioner Reeds, as well as Commissioner Chabot, because she was not able to attend this evening. Did I miss anyone for secretary?
Me.
Did I? I'm sorry. Yes, you're right at the top of my list. I
I
don't know
have
how
a
I missed that
question.
one.
Can I also open myself up to secretary?
Okay, sorry about that. Let me restate this. Okay. Okay, so for secretary, we have Commissioners Cho, Tagboy, Steinberg, Edwards, Reeds, and Chabot. Did I miss anyone? Okay, perfect. Okay, does anyone running for secretary have anything they'd like to say before we entertain a motion?
I'd like to say something.
Okay.
Hi, my name is Ariel Steinberg. I'm a sophomore RUHS, And I'd love to be the secretary for this commission. I think it would be a great honor. I have experience in Model UN as well. I've won several awards, so I do know about parliamentary procedure. I'm also the president of my club, Walk for the World, which basically does fundraisers for different charities. And I'm also on the Youth Advisory Council. I hold a leadership position on the council as well. I'm the school representative for RUHS. So I have some amount of experience with leadership, and I would just be honored to have that position on this commission. Thank you.
Okay, are there any other comments? Okay, so we'll go ahead and see if there's a motion for any commissioner.
Motion to appoint Steinberg as secretary.
Okay, do we have a second?
Second?
Yeah, who made the second? If you did it, okay. Okay. So we have a motion on the table. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Are there any opposed? Okay, perfect. So just to reiterate, our chair is Commissioner Feldy, our vice chair is Commissioner Van Pelt, and our secretary is Commissioner Steinberg. Okay, perfect. Well, thank you guys for doing that. Since our chair and vice chair are both not present, I'll go ahead and continue doing the meetings for you guys for this one. Hopefully, Commissioner Feldy will be in attendance at the next one, so you won't have to hear me talking as much next time. Okay, so we'll move on to our next item on the agenda is consideration of the appointment of Matthew McCauley to the ad hoc subcommittee. So we do have a presentation for this as well. We do have an ad hoc subcommittee. We have 3 members currently, and the commission is able to appoint anyone to the ad hoc subcommittee as long as they qualify. I don't have my report pulled up really quickly. I believe the ages are similar to the commission's, and they do have to be a student at RUHS. And so we did receive an application from from Matthew McCauley to be considered on the ad hoc subcommittee. Just some very basic facts about the ad hoc subcommittee that I didn't go through right now. Essentially, the ad hoc subcommittee is a really important tool because they serve as an extension to the commission. They serve the exact same role as you all on the commission, except they just don't have voting power, but they still represent the commission. They still participate in discussions, still provide input and opinions on all topics, and still attend meetings and events and other activities as a representative of the commission. The purpose of the ad hoc subcommittee is really to be a launching point to the larger youth commission. And so the way that it's structured is that ultimately, once we have a few years of doing the youth commission again, anyone that will serve on the youth commission will serve on the ad hoc subcommittee first, that first year, and then they will be eligible for the youth commission. So this year was just a little different because we have never had the youth commission prior. So just want to give you guys a little bit more of background information on that. There is no limit into the number of ad hoc subcommittee members, so it can be as large as you would like it to be. And currently, as I stated, we do have 3. So just some very quick information on Matthew. He is a senior at Redondo Union High School. He considers mental health and traffic safety as 2 important issues facing teens. The greatest needs that he believes for teens in the South Bay are safety, substance abuse awareness, and e-bikes. He does do extracurricular sports at RUHS, and he also founded a nonprofit youth program that organizes baseball games for those with special needs or physical challenges. I don't believe Matthew is here this evening. So I'm happy to answer any questions you may have either about the commission, or excuse me, the ad hoc subcommittee, or about Matthew. I'll try to answer as best I can. But with that, I'll turn it over to you. It's completely up to you guys. If you want to add this extra individual to the ad hoc commission, we would have to have a motion and a second and a vote in order to do so. So I'll turn it over to you if you have any questions, or you can go straight into your discussion.
So do we motion to move into the discussion about
Yeah,
it?
if there's no questions, then what I'll do is we'll just briefly make sure there's no public comment, and then we can turn it back over to you for a motion. So we'll just go ahead and do public comment really quickly. Does anyone in the audience want to speak on this item? Okay, and no one's still online. So, okay, so we'll turn it back over. So if there's a motion and a second for this, we can entertain that now.
I motion to approve.
Second.
Okay. Sorry. Did you second? Or, I'm
Oh,
sorry, who was it?
I did.
Sorry, the sound carried when I was looking down. Okay, thank you. Okay. Okay, so all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Are there any opposed? Okay. So this is- Okay, so we will invite Commissioner McCauley for the next meeting. Okay, so we will move on to the next item, and this is going to be a really big item for you guys, so bear with me. I'm going to go through, we do have a presentation for this as well. I'm going to go through the entire item in total first, and then I'll break it down and we can discuss it into pieces. So if you can just bear with me, I just want to make sure you guys have the full picture of what we're looking to do tonight. And then I'll walk through, and we created some kind of worksheets so that we can kind of help guide the conversation a little bit as well. So with that, yeah, at the beginning, sorry. Okay, so for this item, this is in a way a continuation of, a piece of this is a continuation of last month's item. We really want the commission to determine what your main goals and focus will be through the 2024-25 term. And so we want you to create that prioritized list so that we as staff know how to respond, what information you need, what reports you need, how we can help you achieve those goals. As part of that, we will talk through the use of subcommittees. And specifically, we are recommending you to develop a teen center subcommittee, because the teen center will be opening soon, and we really want it to be what is helpful and is what you guys want it to be. So, and then lastly, we will be asking you to select 2 representatives from the commission to serve on a stakeholder group about safety and access at Redondo Union. So I'll get into that in a little bit in a moment. I'm not going to go through this into too much detail. It has been in your past 2 reports, but the Redondo Beach Municipal Code does have specific language that outlines the role and purpose of the Youth Commission, and this is that important section for you. So it's really important that as you guys develop your prioritized list, that you're familiar with and know what the intent of this commission was when it was created. And ultimately, if you kind of peruse through all of these, it's really just to be involved in helping the city in youth programming and making sure that you're involved, informed, and that you're also proactive in anything that's related to youth. There's obviously some additional tasks in here, such as represent the city of Redondo Beach when requested to do so. But the meat of it and what's directly tied to what we're talking about tonight is that we really want, or the Youth Commission is really focused on being that voice and that opinion on youth programs for the community. These are the critical topics that were discussed at the last meeting. These are the items that were brought up, some of these multiple times during the commissioner interviews. So these were all of the things that as we were going through the interviews and we were taking notes of the issues that you all felt were most important for teens currently, or just ideas and things that you thought would be great for us to develop for the teen population in the city. We can go through this list. I can always reference this back later if you would like to. I wasn't going to go through this each item individually, but we certainly can reference this again later down the road. But this is the exact same list that was in your last report from last month, as well as we've recopied it into this month's report. So hopefully you all remembered seeing that and remember the items in there. Before we jump into what the prioritized list, I wanted to take a moment to discuss the use of subcommittees And so subcommittees are non-Brown Act bodies. And for those of you that aren't too familiar with it, with the Brown Act dictates how meetings are to be held and to make sure that the public is able to attend meetings and that they know what's being discussed. And so subcommittees are a really useful tool for commissions and city council to have a little bit more flexibility while still maintaining that transparency for the community. And so subcommittees, which are the non-Brown Act bodies, can meet as needed. They are not required to meet publicly in a similar fashion as we're doing this evening. There's no formal agenda that's required. We don't have to post the meeting. Obviously, members of the public can participate in those meetings, but it just removes a level of formality, which adds flexibility for the subcommittees to meet a little bit more regularly. When subcommittees are created, they are created for a specific role. So anytime the commission creates a subcommittee, that has to also be included with a very clear direction for the subcommittee. So for example, later on, we're going to ask for the development of the Teen Center subcommittee. We're going to ask you to affirm what that focus is. What we don't want is you to create a subcommittee that has a very large focus or large item that it has to work on. That one is either unachievable or leads to just confusion on what the subcommittee should be doing, excuse me. So just keep that in mind. Because of the number of the size of this commission, each subcommittee can have no more than 7 commissioners on it. It doesn't have to have 7, it could have 1 or even 2 commissioners. It's really up to you all who wants to participate, but it can have up to 7 commissioners on it. There's no limit to the number of subcommittees you can serve on. You can serve on every single one of them. You can serve on none of them. It's really up to you how you want to structure those. And what's interesting with subcommittees as well is the bulk of the work for the subcommittees are completed by the subcommittee and we as staff support. We obviously help where we can. We can split up tasks and take some of those as well from you. But the bulk of the work is done by the subcommittee. So let's say your focus is, or you were tasked with researching a new event at the Teen Center that was focused on mental health. We as staff would help facilitate the first meeting for that group. And if tasks were split up from there, it would be assigned to the subcommittee members to call certain individuals or to research or to look at different organizations. It would not be focused on staff doing all of the work. And so this is, again, another opportunity for you all to get a little more active in doing some of the work. And then we, of course, are here to support and assist. Subcommittees typically provide regular updates to the commission. So as we develop these subcommittees, every meeting after, we will typically have an item on the agenda for any active subcommittees to provide that update to the commission to say, hey, this is what we've done. We've met in the past month and we talked about X, Y, and Z. And it could just be that simple. It's really just so the commission knows that the subcommittee is still focused on what they were intended to do, and 2, that they are continuing work and things are progressing forward. And ultimately, the final recommendation comes from the subcommittee. So going back to my first example of the event at the Teen Center, the final recommendation for whatever that event on mental health would look like will literally be drafted and come from the subcommittee. We as staff will help support that report. We can help draft it. We obviously will attach it to the agenda, but it will be presented by the subcommittee. So I can't reiterate enough that subcommittees are really an opportunity for you all to really get involved in some of the work and doing a lot of the research and providing that final recommendation to the commission. So it's a really good jumping point to become a little bit more involved in the process. So with that, like I stated, one of the subcommittees we are going to ask you to create tonight is the Teen Center Subcommittee. As you all know, and I'll provide a little bit more of an update on the progress of the facility later in the meeting, but the Perry Park Teen Center is scheduled to reopen in early 2025. As we get closer to that date, we want to have a more open dialogue with the teens in the community, and you guys are the perfect demographic for that. We want to make sure that the facility is reopening in the way that you all want it to be. We want to make sure that there's equipment and supplies and programs and services there that you all want to attend to and that would be helpful for you and other teens in the community. And then even so, after the facility opens, we want to make sure that we're maintaining that high level of programming. And so that committee will likely remain throughout the full term of this commission. And so one of the recommendations is that you do develop the Teen Center Subcommittee and elect commissioners to serve in that role. And so I'm going to, like I stated, I'm going to quickly go through each item that we need to do, and then we'll break this back up into pieces and talk about one at a time. The last item that we are going to ask you, the public works staff are working with consultants with this and to create some stakeholder groups. They are looking at safety and access to Redondo Union High School, and they wanted 2 students to serve on the stakeholder group. They are requesting that you as a commission elect 2 of you guys to represent the youth in the community. And there will be possibly one, possibly 2 stakeholder engagement sessions that will be held virtually in either December or January. So tonight we do ask that you elect 2 participants for those meetings. There are certain qualifications. One has to primarily drive to school, and then the other one has to primarily bike or walk to school. We want to make sure that our stakeholder is widespread as far as how that access happens to on campus. So I'm going to put a pin on this one, and we're going to go back to the very beginning because I think it's important that you all first figure out what your project goals and how you're going to tackle it is, and then we can circle back and figure out these last 2, the stakeholder group and then the Teen Center Subcommittee, so that you will have a better picture of what the full year is going to look like before appointing certain individuals for these. So this just kind of wraps up the recommendation. So we're going to work on this in 4 different parts. The first one will be for you to create your project list. The second one will be to create subcommittees, which is what I would recommend you do. Do not have to do subcommittees, but I do think that that makes the most sense, at least where we are in the conversation now. The third one is obviously the Teen Center Subcommittee, and then the fourth one is the safety and access representation. So going back to our first one, can you go out of the presentation? We're going to use this. Oh, sorry. There we go. So I'm going to actually, I think the best way to do this is we'll kind of type this in live. So as you guys say what your prioritized projects are, I'll try to briefly and quickly type them into here so that you guys can all see kind of a big comprehensive list. From there, once we have that sorted, on the right-hand side, hopefully we can pull 3, 2, 4, however many you guys think is manageable between now and June. And then we can pull it, and then we can pull those aside, and then we'll move on to the next one to where we figure out how do we want to tackle each one of those. Okay, so I'll ask if you guys have any questions. I know that was a lot of information. Do you guys have any questions before we move on to public comment? And that way we can get that out of the way and we can focus on the final focus here. Okay, perfect. So does anyone from the public want to speak on this item? And no one online? Okay, we don't have anyone online. Okay. So public comment is closed. So what I'll do is I will turn this over to you. Bear with me. I'm going to try and type as quickly as I can. If I state something incorrectly, please let me know. I want to make sure that this is representative of what you guys want it to be. So I'll turn it over to you guys.
I think one important project and goal that I think would be important for this term would be to create a social media account that's geared toward teens, because I feel that, like, as a teen myself, a lot of the content that I see on social is through social media, and that's like how I gain a lot of information just about like life, and also about like at ROHS, for example, the way that I learn about a lot of events happening there is through social media. And so I think that's an attainable goal for the Youth Commission to implement. And that it would also benefit teens of Redondo Beach.
So I'm looking through the list here and I'm seeing that development of a teen survey to gather data is one of them. And I believe this one's, it stood out to me because you mentioned how we could get these done this year, like the time span which these goals should be completed is this year. And this is definitely manageable, I believe. And it's important to hear feedback from the public, especially youth. Like, we want direct communication to them. And I believe that this is something we could send out a couple times throughout this this year, so that we can continually gradually get feedback so we can improve our systems.
Okay, perfect.
I think another important aspect would be teen and family event nights, because I feel like through Redondo Beach, I feel as there haven't been any big nights that are geared toward teens or families that just feel like there are for teens or there are for families. Here's this night that you're going to be interested in and you're going to want to come to. And it's also just, I think another point was barriers to socialization. And I think that this is one of the ways that we can combat kind of like the lack of socialization that I think has also come a lot from like COVID. And I think that that could also be a part of like, or a focus when we talk about the teen center at Perry Park.
Any other ideas?
Going along with what Commissioner Reed said, I'd really like to see one of those events, including our police department or fire department. I think on the Redondo campus, we're used to seeing a lot of like security guards and police, and I think that if we could just like be together in a less formal setting or not at school, I think it would really take down some barriers and make them seem a little less scary.
Great. Any other ideas?
I think the one-stop shop for teen resources is also really important, and I think that kind of connects to the social media, because having a social media will allow people to get information pretty quickly, and then from that we can maybe have a website or have just a link to some sort of page where people can get updates, because I know, some people, maybe their parents don't let them have social media, so we could also have some sort of website thing so that everyone can have those updates. And that's pretty easy to implement because it wouldn't have to be too complicated, just a simple like update or reminder service of the different things that happen in the city.
I just had a question.
Sure.
The creation of a comprehensive activities calendar, is that like a calendar that's exclusive to like our view, like only we're allowed to see this calendar, or is it open to the public to view?
No, it would be a public calendar,
public
but it would
calendar,
be one calendar that has all of the information, all of the events on it for a whole year. So
Yeah.
if I remember the comment from where that came from, it was that teens sometimes will go to one thing and then they don't know anything that happens after that. So, but to have it all like a full year's worth of calendar of events, so forward thinking would be more, help people to be more involved, because then they know what to plan for.
Got it, yeah. What Commissioner Steinberg said about like the one-stop shop for teen resources being linked with the social media communication, I think we could also add like the calendar to it as kind of like a really big website for teens to access. And it would just, I don't know, it would just be very great for the teens to be able to know all these informations ahead of time.
Great. Okay, is there any other ideas, or we want to start prioritizing this list?
I'm going to chime in as an adult here, so I was waiting to make sure you all went first. I would love to also prioritize substance use, just as a parent of young children who are flooded with retailers in our area, and would love your look at the policies in the city. So I think that would be a really great priority to see what vaping and fentanyl and alcohol use in this city and how we could increase our American Lung Association grade. So but would love all of your guidance on that.
That's great. Okay, so do we want to, from this list, prioritize these goals? Is there one that's standing out? And it doesn't have to be in the form of a motion, because what we'll do is once we get our prioritized list done, and then we figure out how we're going to approach it, then we can craft the motion. So this is still just some talking points for us here.
I feel like social media should be prioritized because I feel like that's really important. Just like kind of what Commissioner Reed said about like how like our age group uses social media a lot, and it would be a really good way to like reach out to them.
I think that substance use should be prioritized.
After social media or before? What's
I
the
think before.
before substance use? Is everyone okay with that, moving that before? Okay. And we can look at this and kind of okay, oops.
I think we should also prioritize the one-stop shop like website and calendar, but put it before social media, since I guess some teens may not have access to that. So we can have it on the website as well. They can find the social media on the website.
Okay. And in a lot of ways, the social media can even tie into the one-stop shop as well. So, okay, that's great. And we also don't necessarily have to have all of the desired projects in our prioritized list. So if you all just decide now that these are the top 3 that you want to focus on, we can stop here. So don't feel like you have to. But if there are some from the first list that are important, I want to make sure that they're captured.
I think
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I think teen and family event nights are important just because like I think it ties into another point that was on not desired projects and goals list, but talking points of commissioners. And I think it goes below social media, but I think it also helps like combat like barriers to socialization and stuff like that.
Okay.
I think I agree. I'm sorry, I can't see your plaque, but for the survey, I think that that's also really important to collect data so that we know how the things that we're doing, if they're actually working. So I think we should definitely prioritize that. But it doesn't have to be super high up, maybe after social media.
That sounds good with everyone so far? Okay, we'll stick it there and then we can see how this looks. Okay. How are we feeling about these as our top 5? We feel comfortable with them? Is anything else that's glaring that we're missing? Okay, perfect. So let's focus on this then. Let's just make sure the order makes sense. And really the order is more so for us as staff, so we know what items are of more importance to you so that we can respond with reports and that type of thing. So we have substance abuse is number 1, one-stop shops number 2, social media 3, survey 4, and teen and family event nights number 5. Should we adjust some of these? Do you all feel comfortable with this being the list? Okay, perfect. You guys are rocking this. Okay, so let me sorry, hold on. Give me 1 second because I want to be able to capture these on the next slide. Okay. So let's go. Oops. I'm going to go to the next slide. And I'm just going to type these in here. Oops. Sorry, this is not my normal keyboard, so I'm struggling. Substance abuse. Okay, and then these clicks are very loud. Okay. Okay, so this is your top 5. If we want to develop subcommittees for each one of these, I would still recommend doing that. I think all of these would be helpful to have subcommittees for. if we do that, I just want to make sure that we capture what the main focus of the subcommittee is and that you guys are all in agreement that that is what the subcommittee should focus on. And then we'll elect members for each one. So is there any objection to creating subcommittees for any of these? Okay, perfect. So let's start with substance abuse. I just want to make sure that the focus is correct. So I think on the last, we said substance abuse as it relates to city policy or to review the city policy related to substance abuse. Does
Yeah,
that?
and also just any education that is needed, I think is important at the high school and middle school, but
I
what
agree
else do you
that
guys think?
I agree that education's needed because
Yeah.
I feel like a lot of it is just that it's like normalized and it's not as where teens aren't as educated on the risks of substance abuse.
Okay. I will, after this meeting, make more sense, but I just want to make sure I got the key points here. So we don't have to wordsmith this too much. But so for the substance abuse, it's to review education materials, maybe is probably a better way, related to substance abuse issues, and then review city policies, and then offer any education on the risks, which you don't have to offer it, but we can find sources to offer it once you determine exactly what that focus should be. So does that capture it well enough? Do you all feel comfortable with that? Is there anything missing? Perfect. Okay, and is there anyone who would like to serve on this subcommittee?
Or I have a question. Can we serve on multiple subcommittees or is it just one per person?
Nope, you can serve on as many as you'd like.
Okay,
Yeah.
thank you.
Of course. Okay, and for this one, you can just volunteer. And then, like I said, we'll do one single motion for each subcommittee once we're done. And that way we won't have to do the nominations and then vote on each person. Is there anyone who'd like to volunteer for this one?
Yeah, I'd like to volunteer on the substance abuse subcommittee.
Okay, great. Any other commissioner?
I would also like to volunteer.
Okay.
I would like to volunteer.
Is it AEI? Okay. Is there anyone else?
I would also like to volunteer.
Okay.
May I also volunteer?
Volunteer, okay. Okay,
Can I volunteer to be a resource?
of course.
As far as if you're looking for information on what the school district already plans or has in place in terms of education, if that's where you're looking for it and is it to be made more widely, I'm happy to be a resource. I don't know if that means serving on the subcommittee, but
Yeah, if you're going to have those direct communications with subcommittee members on the topic, you would have to serve on the subcommittee, but we still have 2, 4, 5. We still have 2 more
I don't want to take the
openings.
place of if one
Yeah.
of the kids wants to do it, but
Yeah,
it might
no,
be helpful if you
Yeah.
know, and, oh yeah.
well,
that's
we
all.
can add you, and then if we can see if anyone else is interested. So it's Flynn, correct?
Mhm.
Okay. Okay, is there anyone else interested on the substance abuse subcommittee? Okay,
I'll
perfect.
also serve as a resource if needed, but will take myself off if another youth commissioner would like a spot.
Okay, I'll add you, and then we'll see as we finalize these. Okay, so any other comments on the substance abuse subcommittee? Okay. You guys are very efficient. I'm very impressed. Now we have our one-stop shop, and this is really just geared towards making sure that there's one focused-in resource for teens to have important information that they need. So in my mind, I think what would be helpful, and please correct me if I'm wrong, is that we would first have to determine what information teens are looking for, and then 2, how we can gather all that information into one document in one place, one landing place on the city website, whatever that looks like. Does that capture kind of the focus for this, or is there another key piece to this that I'm missing? Does that sound right? Okay. Determine information teens need, and then gather information into one location and distribute. That's another important component to this. We want to make sure that the work you do is then distributed and shared with the teens. Okay, are there any subcommittee, or excuse me, commissioners that would like to serve on the subcommittee?
I would like to volunteer for the one-stop shop
Great.
committee.
I would like to volunteer as well.
I'd also like to volunteer.
Okay. Is that good? Anyone else? Okay, perfect.
Can I ask to add something to the focus on
Yes,
it? Maybe
please.
like making it accessible. It's like something that can be found easily, whether it's like on like the city website or like.
So maybe we can say distribute and make sure it is easily accessible. Yeah. Okay, perfect. Okay, for social media, I actually want to hear from you guys what you picture this to be, because I think I'm on the older end of social media use, so I want to make sure that it's helpful for you. So I'll leave it to you guys to let us know how that subcommittee should be focused.
I picture it as something that's more like informative on like events or like maybe like meetings about the youth commission, that I think it would be primarily like Instagram, just because I feel like that's something that's accessible to more people than other social medias or social media apps.
Yeah. So would it be more geared towards creating a general like teens in Redondo social media account versus like just a teen center one? And that way it's more general and teen related issues can be
Yeah.
included? Okay. So. Okay. Does that sound good? Is there anything else we want to add to that?
I'm not sure if it's like part of the focus, but I think we should keep this social media page like kind of light and airy, not too cut and dry. Because like me personally, if I was like looking on that on my For You page, like I would not want to see that. So
No, that's
just
fair.
Keep it light and airy. I'm not sure if that's like part of the focus, but I just wanted to throw that out.
It could be, because the subcommittee could also develop kind of a plan of what items can be posted and what the focus of the post could be. Yeah. So determine focus of future posts. Okay. And like I said, I'll fix the words a little bit better. So
I think it should also work hand in hand with the one-stop shop. So together it can give teens more of more information.
So coordinate with one-stop shop source. Okay. This is great. Okay, did we capture it all? Anything else missing from social media? Okay, perfect. Any subcommittee members that'd like to volunteer?
Can I volunteer as a subcommittee member, please?
Sure.
I would like to volunteer as well.
Can I please volunteer?
Steinberg?
Yes.
Okay.
I would also like to volunteer.
Okay.
I would also like to volunteer.
Okay, great. All right, anyone else? Okay. Moving on to the survey. Based on what I heard, I kind of picture this being a potentially, based on what Commissioner Nguyen mentioned, this could also be a series of surveys. You could do one at the beginning of the year and then maybe doing one towards the end to see if some of the things were met, what maybe some gaps were, and that way we know what to start kick off with for next year's commission. We could also do just one big survey and make sure that, and figure out what that focus should be on. Is it events? Is it teen center? Or is it all the above? So I don't know how you guys envision this survey. So you let me know, with that in mind, how you think this would be the most helpful tool for you guys.
I think it would be helpful if the survey is mainly used as feedback for us. So if we do it like incrementally throughout the year to see if people feel represented by the Youth on the Commission, or if maybe we can use them for the teen and family events, like if they would be interested into going to certain events, so that we know like what people want to go to, what people don't, and just kind of seeing like if people like what we're doing, since this is very new commission, we could see like maybe if people notice any change from how it was before.
Okay, so would be to determine the frequency of doing surveys would be one of the tasks, determine frequency. Because we also want to make sure we're not doing them too regular, because people lose interest. So we want to also kind of balance that so we're getting really good feedback. So determine frequency of doing surveys. We'll need to determine also what the subject matter is and the questions. Is there anything else we want to
recommend for distribution?
Oh, yes. How we want to distribute it. Recommend. Sorry, I don't have my glasses on. Recommendations for distribution. Okay. Anything else? Okay. Do we have any commissioners that would like to serve on this subcommittee?
Yes, I would like to volunteer on this.
Okay,
I would like to volunteer for the survey committee.
great.
I would also like to volunteer.
Okay.
I would like to volunteer.
Okay. Is there anyone else? Okay, perfect. All right. So now we have our final one is teen and family events. Does anyone want to take a stab at crafting what this focus would be?
Maybe like determining what the events would be and how they would cater to the community and like teens and families, and how like the public knows about these events rather than us just holding them and hoping people come.
Yeah. How the event is marketed. Okay.
And also the frequency of when these events are held.
Okay. Perfect. Something else I think might be good just to consider, and I don't know if we need to add it here, but as we're working on all of these, there's overlap on a lot of these. And if we're very thoughtful in how we approach it, for example, the teen and family events, there could be questions in that first survey that goes out so that you guys know what type of teen and family events to do. So, so we can kind of cross into some of these to make sure that each one of them is as successful as possible. So, okay. Any subcommittee members that would like to serve on this one?
I would like to volunteer on the subcommittee.
I would also like to volunteer, please.
Okay.
I would also like to volunteer.
Okay.
I would also like to volunteer.
I would also like to volunteer.
Okay. Okay. Anyone else on the teen and events?
I just have a question. Do you think like we could still join the subcommittees later if we're still interested in like?
I'm sorry, I missed the first part of your question.
Oh, do you think we could still join the subcommittees like later?
You can. We can add you can remove yourselves. We can do that at any point during the year. Yeah, of course.
And is the removal or like addition of yourself to committees, is that only done during these meetings, or is it like?
Yes, if there's any changes to subcommittees, it has to happen at the meetings.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. Okay. Are there any questions on our prioritized list, and then our subcommittees. Okay, great. So to make it easy, since we have it up on the screen, we can just have someone make a motion that we create this prioritized list with these focus subcommittees and the subcommittee members as shown. If someone agrees to that, you can simply say so moved, and then we will make sure that that's properly documented in the minutes, and then we can just go on from there. So no one has to do a long-winded motion. So if someone wants to simply say so moved, we can do that. Or you can provide an alternate motion. I just certainly don't want to push you into that direction.
So moved.
Okay. Do we have a second?
Second.
Oh.
Okay. Okay. We'll go ahead and take a vote. All in favor?
Aye.
Are there any opposed? Okay, perfect. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and move on to our final two items for this particular agenda item. We have our Teen Center Subcommittee. As I stated, as we open the facility, we want to make sure you guys are involved in what the facility looks like as well as what it offers and provides. I do have Commissioner Chabot, I should say, listed on here. She did express an interest in serving on this subcommittee if you guys did move forward to create one. I can remove her on here or we can keep her. It's up to you guys. So I'll just leave it here until we get to the final motion, and then we'll just make sure you guys of your intent from that point. But I didn't want to forget to include her if she was interested. So are there any commissioners who are interested in serving on the Teen Center Subcommittee?
Yes, I would like to serve on this committee.
I would like to volunteer as well.
I would also like to volunteer.
I would also like to volunteer.
I would also like to volunteer.
Okay, hold on one second. Sorry, I'm typing too fast and making too many errors. Show, and then we have Commissioner Weiss, you did?
Yeah.
Sorry. And then Tech Boy? HBA. Okay, sorry about that. Okay, so if we leave Commissioner Chabot on here, we have space for one more. If we have multiple commissioners that would like to serve on it past that, we can decide if anyone would like to not serve on it. We just can't exceed 7. Is there anyone else?
I would like to volunteer.
Is there anyone else interested? Okay, for the sake of just making it simple, are you guys okay with Commissioner Chabot serving on this subcommittee? Okay, great. Okay, so we'll go ahead and leave her on. Okay, and then the final item is to select some representatives for the safety and access to the Redondo Union High School. We do need, again, one volunteer who drives to campus and then another volunteer who walks or bikes to campus. So do we have any volunteers for either category?
I would like to volunteer for the drive to campus spot.
Drives, okay.
I would also like to volunteer for drives to campus.
Well,
It's only one, right? Okay.
It is
then never
only
mind.
one, but we can put you guys on here and we can have the commission decide who to represent.
It's okay.
Just leave it? Okay, perfect. Okay.
I would like to volunteer for walks or bikes to
Okay.
campus.
Perfect. Okay. Do we have any questions or comments on this section? Great. Okay, so we'll kind of do the same thing for here. If for the final motion, it would be to develop the Teen Center Subcommittee with the stated purpose and the commissioners as stated on the screen, as well as the safety and access representations of Commissioners Nguyen and Weiss. If anyone would like to say so moved.
So moved.
Second.
Was that Cho? Okay. I gotta learn all your voices when I'm not looking. Okay. Okay, so we have a motion on the table. Is there, or can I have a final vote? All in favor?
Aye.
Are there any opposed? Okay. Oh, sorry. So we got through the biggest item of the night. So thank you guys. That was a lot of work, but I think you guys did a really great job on focusing that in. Our last item is for you all to consider rescheduling the January meeting. So the January commission meeting is scheduled for January 2nd, 2025. That is actually part of RUH's holiday break. And so we want to make sure that we're scheduling meetings when you all are available, possibly not traveling out of town. So we do try to align as much as possible to the school schedule. So we are recommending you to consider moving that, just the January meeting, to the following Monday, January 6th, which is a school day, and this room is available. So we were very limited on available dates. So if you all are unavailable to change it to January 6th, we would have very few dates to choose from, and they would be later in the month, which means you may have 2 meetings back to back with your January and then later with the February meeting. So I wanted to first present the January 6th date to you. If this date does not work and you choose not to move it, I will return at the December meeting with the alternate dates, and you can consider those later dates in January. So are there any questions on this? Okay, then I'll turn it over to public comment, just to make sure we don't have any. Is there anyone in the audience to speak on this? And no one online. So we'll go ahead and turn it back to you all. Is there anyone who'd like to make a motion, or if you have additional questions, please let me know.
I'd like to make a motion.
Second.
The motion to approve rescheduling to January 6th?
Yes.
Okay. And that was, I'm sorry, who seconded it?
I did.
Okay, thank you. Okay, so we have a motion on the table to reschedule the January commission meeting to take place on January 6th. Can I have a vote? Is all in favor?
Aye.
Are there any opposed? Okay, perfect. Okay. Moving along. So the final actual discussion item, we do have a presentation for, one more presentation for you guys. This one should be a little more fun. So the next item is the staff liaison report. This is just items for us to present to you just for informational purposes. Please feel free still to ask questions if you have any. But as we've stated many times, the Teen Center is under construction. This is a very high-level list of the improvements that are being done, but there is going to be, or there was, we did just complete it, the interior and exterior painting. There will be some interior remodeling, including flooring and removal of the indoor trellises. I don't know, there's probably a better word to call them. I'll show you photos so you can see what I'm talking about. There will be a full update to the kitchenette area, upgrades to electrical and future equipment capabilities, and improvements to facility storage options. So wanted to show you, this was the before of the exterior. I don't know how familiar you guys all are with the facility. I know it's been closed for a few years, but you can see the paint was peeling. It was definitely showing its age. And we did refresh with some brighter, a little bit more muted kind of colors to just kind of brighten that area up a little bit more. This was the interior before, so those yellow trellises, as I call them, on the 2 ends of the facility have been removed. The colors are drastically different as well, and we removed some of the non-structural sections of the building, so we'll show you. So this is what the interior looks like now. It's really just going to be kind of a fresh plate. Obviously, opportunities to add some color and add some really dynamic pieces to it that will really touch upon what the teens are drawn to. So the flooring is not completed. The red and the black flooring should be changed to be more of a gray, so it should blend in a little bit more. So the reds will be removed at some point. So this is the building. It's much larger, much more open, so much more opportunities for different activities, a little more flexibility in there. I did want to take a little opportunity to plug our Public Works team. This is our facilities team. They're the ones that are doing the work in the facility. and are truly doing an amazing job in there. And we've been really impressed and thankful for all of their work in there. So just wanted to just do a little plug there. And then the second item I wanted to share with you, if any of you guys are skateboarders, we do have a skate park over at Pad 10 near the pier. We do have a mural that's currently being painted. The 2 photos on the right are actual photos from the site of the progress of the mural. The bottom left, the longer photo, is the conceptual image that will be eventually painted throughout. So just wanted to share this with you. I think this is another exciting project that the teens and the youth in the community are really excited to move forward with, and will really help liven and put a stamp on that area for teens and the active skateboarders over there. So we will be having a ribbon cutting, hopefully for late November, early December. We'll certainly keep you informed of that, because it would be very fitting to have some sort of a presence by the Youth Commission at the ceremony. So just wanted to share that with you. And I think that is our last one. Okay, so that concludes the staff liaison report. Are there any questions on the 2 updates? Perfect.
I have a quick question.
Oh, sorry.
Is
Yeah,
there
of
going to be
course.
Wi-Fi available at the teen center?
I believe so. Yes, there will be. Yes.
Okay, great.
Okay, so moving on to item K is member items and referrals to staff. This is an opportunity for you, if you have any just general questions, concerns, anything that you'd like to bring to staff's attention or to the rest of the commission's attention.
I had a question.
Sure.
You know, like the presentation, so like for example, like the one you just showed, are those posted somewhere?
They will be posted online to the agenda. So yes, after the meeting, once we're able to clean up some of the language on the worksheets we did, we'll get those updated.
Okay, thank you.
Of course. Any other questions?
I
Yeah.
just had another question. So the agendas, once we get our city issued emails, will the agendas be sent through those city issued emails?
They
or-
will be.
Okay.
Yes. Yeah. So it's really important for you all to become familiar with accessing those email accounts and checking those regularly, because that will be the main source of communication between you and the city.
I just have a general question. So there's no set end time for the meetings, right? So if we have like some other engagement that's sort of maybe say at like 7:30 or something, would we assume that it would run past then, or like what's kind of the range for the length of the meetings?
Unfortunately, there's no set end time like you stated. So the meetings, some could be very short, others could be very long. We can't really guarantee an end time. But if there is another engagement that you do need to leave for, by all means, if you need to step out, you can certainly do that. So if it would be great if you can give me a heads up just so I'm aware. But certainly, if something comes up, please feel free.
Okay, thank you.
Of course. Any other questions, concerns? Okay, I just want to congratulate you guys. This was a heavy agenda and a lot of work, and you guys really powered through it, and I think did an amazing job prioritizing your goals. That's a really important thing that you all just completed. So thank you for your patience in doing that and for being participatory in it. You guys did really great with that. So with that, I will go ahead and adjourn the meeting. So can I have a motion to adjourn the meeting?
Motion to adjourn the meeting.
Second.
Okay, can I have a vote? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, great. Thank you all. Have a great evening.